Billy back here with Broship of the Nerds, and Jack had promised you guys I'd make a video today, so here I am. Today I'm talking to you about WWE Bash in Berlin. It was Germany's first pay-per-view over there, and the crowd did not disappoint. Right from the get-go, I saw that there were 5 matches on the card, and the start times in Europe, of course, are going to be a little bit earlier because of how their time works. It's evening over there. So I kind of like it whenever they do these events early in the day when we start at like noon because then you have time to get stuff done in the morning. And I will say my favorite thing about these shows are that Triple H runs this like he does when he was doing NXT Takeover. He leaves you with enough and wanting more to know what's going to happen next show. So 5 matches. That's how we did the takeovers as well, if you can remember. And that was some of the best wrestling we've ever seen. So to say that they have a good formula down is an understatement here, because all 5 of these matches I was interested in. Now I'll get into like what I thought of each match, but the crowd was loud from the opening. And this kicked off around noon. It was like a little bit, few minutes after before it actually started. But they opened with Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens honestly deserves something because he has had so many high level main event matches. They were talking about how his last world title one-on-one match would have been with Roman at the Royal Rumble 2023, and I still remember that match because it was a hell of a match. So Kevin Owens is consistently putting on good shows. I would like to see him with more championships. I mean, not that he needs it, but he just is that good. And this was a great match, and I like the storytelling here because Kevin knew Cody's knee was bothering him, and then Cody's like, "No, I'm 100%, I'm fine." And then during the match, Cody's knee was bothering him, and Kevin held back. He finally hits his knee once, and then he was going to do a powerbomb on the outside of the ring to Cody and didn't. So he held back, which the story there was Kevin not going for that attack cost him the championship. So I really liked the way they did that storytelling there. Cody ends up retaining. This was a WrestleMania level match. The crowd was hot. The match was really fast paced and brutal. A lot of finishers and signatures and kickouts. I really like that. It definitely felt like one of those matches where you weren't sure when it was going to end. The result wasn't really a question too much here because Cody, after beating Roman, it's going to take someone high level to beat him. But Kevin definitely showed here that he deserves more championship reigns. So we'll see what happens here, but I really liked this opening. And like I said, the crowd was into it. There was some back and forth. At one point, uh, Owens kicks out of the crossroads, which was incredible. So this was a really good match. Uh, the second match was Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill challenging the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, for the women's tag team championships. Now, I will say Triple H is doing a good job of trying to build this division. There aren't that many teams. There's Index, I believe. There's Piper and Chelsea, Bianca and Jade, and Alba and Isla Dawn. And this match was a little bit shorter, but Jade did some corner like jumping clothesline kind of things or shoulder tackle things. You can tell she's very athletic. I really like her, but she's not at Bianca's level as far as like the athleticism, but she's getting there. She's getting better each show. So I think they're under WWE, they are really building her up and doing a good job at it. I'm glad that they didn't have her as undefeated because I told my buddy and my coach runner here, Jack, that if they overdid it and let her win the tournament and made her undefeated for too long, the fans might start pushing back against her. They'll say, she's like the female Roman where she's being forced down your throat. I am glad that they are doing a slow burn with her, and I think it works here. Bianca and Jade win the championships here, and this was a decent match. I mean, it's not one you're going to talk about like a year later, right? You're not going to go back, guys, you got to watch this awesome match I saw last year. It's it's good. It's okay. but it's not going to be one of those matches that we discuss in a year or two down the road. Our next matchup was CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in the strap match. And when they announced this was four corners, Jack and I were both like, oh, Lord, here we go. But what they were able to do is turn it into a street fight and make the match more than just staying in the ring the whole time and hitting those four corners. I like how they did it with the lights, and if the momentum was stopped, it was reset. I liked that. The way they did it was really good because I think there's been previous versions where, okay, let's say Drew were to hit 1, 2, and 3 on the turnbuckles, then he hits 4 later, and as long as nobody else touched the other ones, he wins. So I like that they did that. And Punk really went crazy here and did a lot of GTSs. And I like the story of the bracelet. We kind of wrapped that up. And Punk finally getting his first win since returning. Once again, a slow burn. They're not, I mean, he had the injury, but they're not forcing Punk on you. It's like, hey, we know people like him, we know people don't like him, but he's always talked about. So here he is, his return from injury. He has a match at SummerSlam. This was a much better match for Punk. You could tell he was just more with it. He wasn't winded as easily. They had a good pace going. Drew is built like a brick shit house. That's all the only way to say it. And this was a really good back and forth match. There were multiple times where I thought this could go either way. I was hoping Punk would win just so he would finally get a win. And they had a point where Drew had 3, Punk had 3, and then it would be reset. And then Punk finally, after multiple GTSs, gets to the fourth one and gets the win here. Great, great match. Way better than what I expected. Not from these two, they're great in the ring. What I mean by that is for the type of match it was, I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to pull it off, but the way they did it was excellent. It didn't go too long, it went just under 20 minutes. This was a great matchup. Next, we had the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, against Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan of Judgment Day as a mixed tag team match. I like that Rhea finally got some offense on Dom. Uh, it was well overdue. The storytelling for this has been really fun. It's one of those like just fun stories. And at one point, Dom's like, "Come on, mommy, give me a hug here." And she kind of pretended to fall for it, and then she attacked him. So I like that. Judgment Day gets involved, but still gets stopped by Rhea and Damian. I like this duo. I like Liv and Dom as a heel duo, but Rhea and Damian as a duo is just incredible. This was a fun match. This was your, hey, we know that all 4 of these people can go in the ring. Let's just have some fun with it and tell a fun story. This was a great in between match. After that Drew Punk match, this was a great match to set up your main event. And this match is great. All 4 of these stars are main event level worthy. And I really like the way they did this. They've been building Liv up. Rhea's already a megastar. Liv's the current champion. I really like that they have, like I said, I told Jack, of the Riot Squad, Liv there, she was eliminated really fast in 2 of the Women's Royal Rumbles. So she was, who I thought would be the first to go from the Riot Squad. But she ended up being the best of the 3, I believe. And I think they've done a good job of building her up and given her a women's main event run here. So this was a very fun match. And the right people won. I think it was time for Rhea and Damian to get a duo win and to put them as a duo. And it was just a fun match. And they needed to give Damian momentum because he just dropped the championship recently to Gunther. But Damian, kudos to him. He's risen from his NXT days were great, but when he got to the main roster, for a while I was afraid this Judgment Day thing, he was going to get lost in the shuffle. But now we're seeing that they have more faith in him and that they're starting to give him a little bit more of a run here. All right, our main event for the championship. Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Randy Orton. This was a great main event. The crowd was loud. They were singing Randy Orton's song as he was coming to the ring. They were cheering for Gunther. Ludwig Kaiser came out and took the mic from Samantha Irvin and did the ring introduction for Gunther. Gunther it's like what Michael Cole said. He was 100% correct with what JBL had said. When you're building a superstar from the ground up, the perfect superstar, it's Randy Orton. He's athletic, one of the best drop kicks I've ever seen. just knows how to work the crowd. He knows where he's at in the ring at all times. He knows psychologically how to tell a good story. And the return from back injury, they've been playing on that for a while. And so it's hard to tell, is he really having back pain or is he selling? So it's very hard to distinguish because he's a veteran, he's been around so long, and he knows what he's doing in that ring. And then you have Gunther, of course, who is an old school wrestler in the modern day. I like the way he works in the ring. He sells, he knows when to sell, he knows when to go on the offense, and he also knows where he is in the ring. Those chops, though, oh, like the chop fest those two had was just brutal. Um, Gunther and Orton together, if you're wanting to, he can give some vicious chops, but you're wanting to see like a slugfest, this is the guy to watch. And these two together, magic in the ring. That's the only way to say it, I guess. Magic in the ring. Uh, Psychologically, yes, Orton's been around a long time and he's taken bump after bump after bump, but he can still go. So I really like the way they did this. They were telling the story of, can Orton get to his 15th world title? He's two away from tying Cena and Flair. He is one of the all-time greats, Randy Orton. And they had a back and forth. This went over 30 minutes, but it didn't feel too long. And once again, Orton had some offense in. He had an RKO at one point, and Gunther struggled, but he finally hit the power bomb, and he was, his arm was bothering him. So that was really good storytelling there too, because remembering sometimes the sell can be tough, and both of these men are going to walk away with bruises. But Orton almost got him, but in the end, Gunther wins by technical submission. Or did not tap, but he passed out. So Orton wouldn't give up, but his body gave out. That's what I liked about this. The show overall, it had a good balance of different match types and pacing. You do 5 matches in 3 hours. By the time you count like your commercials and your, the talks in between, that sort of thing, say about 2.5 hours. But really, 3 hour show here, early in the day. I thought it was a great show. It would have been really fun to have attended because the German fans were really loud and passionate. And honestly, I've been to a lot of shows where it's dead. I've been to some Monday Night Raws before Mania where people were asleep in front of me. It was just like quiet for some segments, very awkward. And this was not like that. They showed the decibels on the screen. At one point, I think they got over 110, like close to 120, whenever they were singing Randy's song, and then the cheers they were doing for Gunther. I give this pay per view a thumbs up. This was great. And it's just showing you that our United States audiences are going to have to step it up when it comes to the fan noise because we're spoiled and used to having the big shows. So we're going to have to step it up here as the audience had energy. And when I go to one of these events, I like to drink a cup of coffee right before. That way I'm like wired and I'm into it for a few hours because to me, I want peak energy when I go to a show. Um, Highlights, the opening with Cody and Kevin. Great way to start the show, like I said. Gunther and Orton, their ability to work a match together and both styles being able to blend well. Punk and Drew was good. This show overall thumbs up. Like I said, great show, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments. What was your favorite match? Were you surprised by anything? We did have the title change here with the women's tag champions, and that could have gone either way. The strap match could have gone either way. Realistically, I thought Cody would retain. Now the Gunther Orton match, I was hoping Gunther would retain, but I wouldn't have been upset if Randy won. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and have a great day, guys.